Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX. Discover how some of the top executives are trading their own companies with our Insider Trades tool. See who's been buying or selling stock and what their trades say about insider sentiment. Use this unique big data tool to make more informed stock trades. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Boom, and we're live. What's happening, beautiful people? How are you guys doing? Good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to our live stream. Ladies, gentlemen, traders, I want to start by saying a happy Human Rights Day for all our friends in South Africa. Yesterday, South Africa celebrated, and today I have with us the right person to tell us more about this holiday and its importance for the South African people. So, please stay tuned. We're coming back live in 30 seconds with my guest for today. Happy South African Human Rights Day. Right, guys, and we're back. I'm trying to get a hold of the guest. We had some technical difficulties today. Let's see if my guest will pick up the phone or the laptop. Okay, because I'm trying to get in touch right now. We should have image in a minute or so. Okay, we don't have cam for now. We don't have image, but we should have image soon. Bear with us for just a second. Right, let me get back to you after 30 seconds of advertisement, guys. I'm sorry about this. We have some technical issues. The guest I'm calling is very, very far, and probably the call needs a bit of time to go through. Stay tuned. We're coming back. Oh, no, my guest has just joined us. Bear with me for just a second. Right, so once again, let me try the intro once again. Ladies, gentlemen, traders, happy Human Rights Day once again to all our South African friends. And as I was telling you today, I have the right person to tell us more about this holiday and how important this is for the South African people. So without further ado, guys, please welcome the CEO, the founder of Pro Trading Africa, Mainda Kayoba. Hi, Mainda. How are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good. I'm always good. How is the sound? How is the image? Are we good?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I'm not sure you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
There's a bit of a hear you.
There is indeed a bit of an echo, but what can we do? We're professionals and we're trying to overcome these technical issues. So, happy Human Rights Day, Mainda, once again, and welcome to the broadcast. How are you, first of all?
No, I'm fantastic, Andrew. And how are you? And how's everyone?
All good on my side, all good on the Europe side. We are eager to see what happens with the AstraZeneca, with the vaccine in Europe, and so on. Now, did you celebrate yesterday? You had a big holiday.
Yes. So yesterday it was we had what you call the Human Rights Day. It's like a national day.
And is it the kind of holiday with barbecues, Mainda, and parties, or it's more like a Memorial Day?
I would say it's more like a remembrance, for South African people to remember those who actually fought in the liberation, of freedom as we know it in the country. So yeah, people had obviously barbecues. Others had probably like a gathering, just like I said, to remember those who actually fought for the freedom.
Right, and tell us more about it. Tell us more about it, please. When does this holiday start? What does it represent? and how important it is for the South African people?
Okay, so basically I believe in 1960, there was a huge protest in a small place, a small township called Sharpeville. The people were protesting about, the rights. They were not happy about certain, issues in that era. So there was a huge protest then, and unfortunately, the regime then obviously were misleading people, So that's where the whole protest, erupted in the area called Sharpeville, 1960. That's when it happened.
Right. And what happened that day? Some people fought for freedom. Some people unfortunately died, on that day.
Unfortunately, yes, look, people may think freedom is actually free, but it's not actually free, Some people actually lost their lives then, I think 69 to be exact, and over 160, were wounded on that fatal day, So that's where the Bill of Rights was actually passed on, when the new elected democratic the government came into power.
Right. Okay. And what did people actually want in that day?
Well, people were actually looking for equality. They were fighting for to be heard. By then the government, it was the apartheid. As you know, Andrew, it was actually the apartheid regime.
Yes.
People were looking for equality. People were looking for freedom of movement, and so on and so forth. So they actually mobilized themselves to obviously it was actually a peaceful protest up until it turned obviously into a tragedy.
I know. Yeah, I know. And correct me if I'm wrong. At some point, I think the protest happened in front of a police station or something. And the police took action, and unfortunately, they shot some people. Is that correct?
You're 100% right. Look, it was actually the South African police then, the operative police, that actually obviously shot at the protesters. And yeah, unfortunately, it did actually happen close to the police station itself.
Right.
So this day is very important to the South African people for them to remember, so that they can always, pass it down to the other generation for them to understand the importance of freedom as we know it, democracy as we know it in South Africa.
Yeah, and now you're allowed to walk on the same side of the sidewalk. Yeah, all people together. You don't have to go on separate sidewalks anymore.
You're quite right. There were some certain areas which people of color were not allowed to go to, and obviously stay at, However, right now things are a bit, have changed, drastically. One can reside in anywhere they feel like, and obviously, and one of the reasons why it was a protest, there was obviously, as you know, Africans, they never wanted to learn, using Afrikaans per se, However, right now everyone has a right to speak whatever language or practice whatever culture they feel like. I mean, as you know, South Africa is a very diverse, country. Yes. So that was one of the reasons why the protest actually took place then in 1960.
Right. Okay. And this is something you will go on forever. Yeah, you're teaching the kids in schools about it and everything.
I believe the reason it was actually made a national day was because obviously older generation needed to pass it on to the younger generation. And as much as we have barbecues and gatherings, I still believe there's still some workshops that actually held in different provinces, which actually address such events, to just teach people what really happened, and they mustn't take the democracy which we're seeing right now in SA, for granted.
Right. Okay. I have great respect for the South African people, and I'm planning to come visit you guys as soon as I can. Okay. Happy Human Rights Day once again, and all my best wishes to the people of South Africa. Now, let's get into something related to the business and talk markets. What do you say?
No, you're right. You're quite right. Look, I think Jerome Powell, I'm not quite sure at the moment, I think your time, but he was actually speaking.
It's going to start in half an hour from now.
Also, he's already speaking as we speak.
Easy. No, I know the interview will start at 4 o'clock GMT plus 2. It's 3:22 now. So let's see. In the economic calendar, it shows me something else. All right. So what are you looking at this week? What assets are you following this week? The US dollar, obviously, because you mentioned Jerome Powell.
The US, no, you're quite right. The US dollar, I'm also looking at, I was looking at April. It was actually bullish yesterday. I was looking also at, trading some crude. However, it was actually a downtrend,
Yes,
but then I believe it's because of the restrictions in other countries as well. I think it was Germany and France.
Yes, that's correct.
They went back to lockdown, right? And also I was looking at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq, I think, is bullish at the moment. I think the next, I think it's just gonna go to 13,200. The next resistance. So that's where we're actually looking at it.
Right. This is the NASDAQ. Yeah, NASDAQ 100 on a 60-minute chart. Yeah, we see it trading at 13,086.51 right now. Some good support provided by that 200 moving average. Let's see what's going to happen. Everyone is expecting a rebound of the US indices. They went down quite a lot in the last few days. So let's see. 13,200 for NASDAQ is a bit of a push, but it will happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a huge resistance on that level. So we looking very closely to that. I think it's gonna close at that before retracing at that price level.
Right. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Right, Mainda, thank you ever so much for being with us today. Much appreciated. Once again, happy Human Rights Day for yesterday. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you as soon as next week, as soon as something big happens on the market.
Definitely. Look, it's always a pleasure to share my knowledge and what I know, obviously. I'm obviously humbled. Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me.
Thank you for being with us today, Mainda. I'll talk to you next week. Right. Have a great day. Right, ladies, gentlemen, traders, we had Mainda Kayoba with us, the founder of Pro Trading Africa. We're going to take 30 seconds break, and then we're coming back live with the charts of the day and the signals of the day. We're only 5 minutes ahead of the U.S. markets open. Plenty of things will happen today. Lots of volatility expected, so don't miss out. We're coming back live in 30 seconds.
Keep your finger on the market pulse with the News Alerts tool. Stay up to date on the latest sentiment across all the major asset classes. Uncover bullish or bearish signals tied to specific assets that could be developing before major price moves, and track how news sentiment correlated with price in the past. Track the news volume on an asset, its fear index, and get a better feel for its underlying strength. All with News Alerts, your central hub for market information. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Right, what's happening, beautiful people? Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Europe, and welcome everyone to our live stream. Let me know how you guys are doing on this beautiful Tuesday, 23rd of March, 2021. Type your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and support us in delivering more great content. And if you don't like what we do, guys, still share our videos and annoy your neighbors and enemies. Right, let's get down to business, guys. Big day in the economic calendar today. The US indices point to a lower open today, with investors remaining cautious and waiting for any hints that might come out from Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen's testimony in front of the Financial Services Committee. European equity markets retracted today from one-year highs following a new COVID wave and more extended lockdowns for Germany, France, and other European countries as the battle of restraining the COVID virus in Europe continues. The AstraZeneca vaccine is still questioned by the US Health Agency after the company might have submitted out-of-date results for the efficacy of the vaccine. The Data Safety Monitoring Board expressed concern that AstraZeneca may have included outdated information from that trial, which may have provided an incomplete view of the efficacy data. The U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases state in a statement. AstraZeneca is now looking for emergency use authorization from the US in the upcoming weeks, guys. Meanwhile, crude oil tanked today even more after the new wave of COVID infections in Europe might stall the start of the holiday season, with Germany, the biggest oil consumer in the European Union, imposing new restrictions until after the Easter holiday, asking its citizens to remain home. It might be wise if more and more European countries would apply the same policy. And finally, guys, Bitcoin, the good almighty Bitcoin, gives back some more gains today, tanking around $5,000 in the last 24 hours and currently trading around $54,000. Ethereum follows as well. US markets open. Coming up. Right, welcome to the US trading session, everyone. Let's have a quick look at the economic calendar first of all and see why today is so important for the markets. So we started the day nice and early with a ton of announcements coming from the UK regarding the pound. We had the average earnings index plus bonuses coming out lower than expected, 4.8%. So people are getting paid less, basically. We had an employment change of negative 147,000 for the last 3 months. And we also had an unemployment rate coming out better than what economists were predicting at 5% flat versus an expectation of 5.2% from the pound. However, the pound started tumbling. Probably the markets digested the news that the workers are being paid a bit less than before, with the average earnings index and bonuses coming out below expectations. We also had a press conference, a big press conference from the Bank of England, okay, which ended about an hour ago. Okay, and shortly we're going to have the FOMC press conference starting with the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell testifying in front of the committee, and as well as Janet Yellen will testify for the next 2 days. Yes, so it starts today and it's going to continue throughout tomorrow as well. Okay, so new home sales are expected to come out. The API crude oil stock is expected to come out today as well. And just before midnight, we're going to have the trade balance year over year and monthly on the Kiwi dollar. But by far, the biggest activity will happen during the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen testifying. Now, let's move on to some news today, guys. Top 5 things to know in the markets today. We are only 2 minutes ahead of the US markets open. Quick read of the headlines. I'm going to have a look at some stocks for you guys, and then we're going to look at the charts and the signals of the day. So stay tuned. Right, number one on the board, Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen to face House questions. Yeah, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen are set to start their 2-day testimony before the Congress later today, in about 30 minutes from now, in front of the House of Financial Services Committee. Okay, they are set to discuss the health of the U.S. economy and the importance of fiscal and monetary stimulus in the recovery from the pandemic. Yields on U.S. treasuries have climbed to their highest levels in more than a year as financial markets have bet on the U.S. economy making a quicker recovery from the damage caused by the pandemic than the central bank currently predicts. And the pair are likely to get plenty of questions from a deeply political divided Congress about whether those yields will continue to rise amid fears that economy will overheat. We might also hear Jerome Powell talking about cryptocurrencies and a potential regulation in the crypto sphere, as cryptocurrencies took off strongly this year, okay, leaving many people and institutions exposed to potential gains, but also potential heavy losses. Number 2 on the board, guys, AstraZeneca's executives must have felt they had finally caught a break yesterday after data from a large U.S. trial showed its COVID-19 vaccine proved 79% effective overall and 100% effective preventing serious illness and hospitalization. However, this had proven a false down after the U.S. Health Agency questioned today whether the UK-Swedish company provided a complete view of efficacy data on its vaccine from the trial, casting doubt on its plan to seek U.S. Emergency Use Authorization for the vaccine in the coming weeks. The Data Safety Monitoring Board expressed concern that AstraZeneca may have included outdated information from that trial, which may have provided an incomplete view of the efficacy data, the US National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases said in a statement. AstraZeneca's vaccine has been dodged by doubts over its efficacy, dosing regimen, and possible side effects. Many European countries, as you know, including Germany and France, and more European countries halted the use of the vaccine earlier this month after reports linked to a rare blood clotting disorder, which was, by the way, denied by all authorities involved. Yeah, apparently AstraZeneca has nothing to do with that, or if there's a chance, that's very, very tiny, guys. Number 3 on the board, stocks set to open lower with European stocks down on COVID wows. Okay, U.S. stock markets look set to open marginally lower today amid cautious trading as investors await comments from Fed Chief Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen as they testify in front of the Congress. Also, those expected losses on Wall Street follow weakness in Europe as well, with the European equities retracting from a one-year peak as a new wave of COVID cases and a lockdown extension in Germany raised fears of a slow economic recovery. Additionally, Turkish stocks continued to drop today, with the main index down 7% after President Tayyip Erdogan abruptly fired the hawkish central bank governor at the weekend and installed a critic of the country's tight monetary stance. Right, now number 4 on the board, the U.S. housing data in focus and UK jobless rate falls. We spoke about it a minute ago. We're going to have the housing data in focus in about 30 minutes from now or less. And finally, the last but not the least, number 5 on the board, the crude oil hit by European COVID restrictions. Crude prices weakened today amid growing concerns that the flaring up of COVID-19 cases in Europe will show a slow recovery and slow demand ahead of the summer tourism season. By 10 GMT this morning, guys, US crude was down 3.5% and Brent crude was down 3.5% as well, trading as low as 62.37 a barrel. Right. This is it, guys. Now, on the supply side, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, known as OPEC Plus, will convene on April 1st to determine production policy for May. Let's see what's going to happen. Russia said they want to open the tap last time. Saudi Arabia pulled back, saying they need a bit more balance into the oil prices. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, I'll make you a deal, guys. Let's take a 30-second break, and then we're coming back live with the charts of the day and the signals of the day.
Keep your finger on the market pulse with the News Alerts tool. Stay up to date on the latest sentiment across all the major asset classes. Uncover bullish or bearish signals tied to specific assets that could be developing before major price moves, and track how news sentiment correlated with price in the past. Track the news volume on an asset, its fear index, and get a better feel for its underlying strength. All with News Alerts, your central hub for market information. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Right, and here we are, beautiful people, with the charts of the day. Let's have a quick look at crude oil, which tanked severely yesterday and today as well. 59.16 for crude oil this afternoon, with the RSI stochastic crawling somewhere into the oversold levels, pointing upwards. But the overall sentiment, I think, is negative for oil today. The euro also tumbled today, the entire European trading session, guys. 118.74 for the euro, which last night was trading at 119.40. Okay, once again with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards. I mean, no doubt about it, investors will be very, very cautious when Europe once again is failing to vaccine the population with only 13 vaccines, if I'm not mistaken, per 100 people. Now, the pound also tumbled, guys. 137.84 for the cable this afternoon. GBP USD pair. We don't see any good signs from the technical aspect. We might see a good sign from some statements coming from Bank of England later on today, if they didn't finish. We're moving on to USD JPY. 108.60 for USD JPY, which slowly but surely is moving towards a downtrend. Okay, following an impressive uptrend that it had for over a week. The Aussie dollar is suffering as well, just like the euro and the pound, guys. I don't know if you noticed by now, they tend to move together. So 0.7672 for the Aussie dollar, which tanked during the European trading session today with the RSI stochastic way below the oversold levels. USD CAD, on the other hand, strengthened 125.75 for the USD CAD. Okay, now it would probably be wise to get the Fibonacci retracement out, guys, if you want to trade the retracement. There we go. Yeah, this is how you use it. Okay, you measure the highest point to the lowest point, and then you're looking at support resistance levels, yeah, which are indicated by the colors, okay, and the lines you see, the horizontal lines you see on the chart. Let's see how the S&P 500 opened today, guys. On a 5-minute chart, negative opening for the S&P 500 with a bit of a gap, 3,936.23 this afternoon. Once again, with the RSI and the stochastic way into the oversold levels. Okay, we might see a closing of the gap today, yeah, up to 39.40.32, and from there on, God knows what's going to happen. There we go. Yeah, this is what I was telling you about. And once again, guys, another proof that whenever the markets open with a gap, the gap will be filled rather sooner than later. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Dow Jones, which opened to the downside today once again. Yeah, 2 losing days for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 32,690.24 for the Dow Jones. We see a green candlestick, okay, but the gap did not manage to close yet. So let's see what's going to happen. Meanwhile, we're looking at silver, guys, which tanked a few minutes ago. There we go. Let's look at it on a 1-hour chart. There we go. Yeah, big tank for silver, 25.36 for silver, and still pointing downwards. The price is subdued by both moving averages, the 50 and the 200. Okay, and if the US dollar will strengthen a bit today, before or during Jerome Powell's testimony, then silver and gold futures will very likely drop. Okay, there we go. We're looking at gold futures looking to break to the downside. Yeah, 1,732.35 for gold futures this afternoon with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards. And if you look carefully at the RSI, guys, we can see the RSI not being able to go all the way up for quite some time now. So that usually indicates a lot of weakness in the price. Now, let's move on. Let's see what's going to happen if gold breaks to the downside. Yeah, probably traders will aim for the 1699 or the 1700 mark. Okay, as markets are attracted to round numbers. And also, this is where the previous low was. If this movement will continue, then probably traders will set their take profit targets even lower, yet towards 1670 or somewhere in that region, as that's where the previous low is. Yeah, also it's worth noting, guys, that Bitcoin also dropped about $5,000 in the last 24 hours. Yesterday it was trading somewhere there around the 58,000 mark, and earlier on went all the way down to $53,282. Okay, for the moment, it's trading at 55,401. The price is again subdued by the 50 and the 200 MA, if that makes any sense on cryptocurrencies. But Chris Thomas at Swissquote was saying yesterday that it does. So, right, we might see Bitcoin shooting lower. Okay, Ethereum followed as well, $1,711.16 for Ethereum versus the US dollar, guys. Again, with the RSI stochastic not being able to reach the overbought levels, indicating more weakness than strength on these two cryptocurrencies. Now, let's have a quick look at some stocks, guys, and see what is happening with the stocks today. Might be a good day to trade the stocks. AstraZeneca, Viacom, CBS fall pre-market. GameStop edges higher. Once again, the mighty GameStop, let's say. Let's have a quick look. So, AstraZeneca ADR fell 2.2% after the U.S. Health Agency cast doubt regarding the positive results from the large-scale U.S. trial of the drug maker's COVID-19 vaccine. Right, Boeing fell 0.9% after the airplane maker said it had entered into a $5.28 billion 2-year revolving credit agreement, implying it will have to contend with a prolonged slowdown in commercial air travel. Viacom CBS fell 5% after the media giant announced it will sell $3 billion in total of its stock, using some of the proceeds to invest in its streaming services. Raven, guys, fell 8.5% after the agriculture technology company reported weaker than expected fiscal fourth quarter results. Pfizer fell 0.2% after the Wall Street Journal reported that the drug maker plans to tap the RNA technology to make new vaccines for other viruses following the success of its COVID-19 shot. Facebook, tiny movement downwards for Facebook as well, 0.2%, following the news that the media watchdog Reporters Without Borders has filed a lawsuit against the social media giant in France over hate speech and false information. Tencent Music fell 4.6% after the music streaming service reported quarterly results that came in slightly below forecasts. GameStop rose only 0.2% after the games retailer announced the departure of Chief Customer Officer Frank Hamlin, pointing to a hefty shakeup by its new biggest shareholder, Chewy co-founder Ryan Cohen. Discovery fell 3.4% after UBS downgraded its investment stance on the media company to sell from neutral, and Sunrun rose 4% after Goldman Sachs updated its stance for the solar power company to buy from neutral, citing its accelerating growth. Now, let's have a quick look at some signals for today. There we go, guys. Today, the signals tend to be making a bit more sense. Okay, on the euro side of things, at least 4 strong sell indications for the euro versus the US dollar this afternoon on all 4 time frames. We see USD CHF with 4 strong buy indications on all 4 time frames. The Aussie dollar seems to be correcting after the drop right now, indicating a strong buy on a 5-minute chart, but the daily and hourly remaining a strong sell. And the Kiwi dollar is weakening versus the US dollar with 4 strong sell indications. Towards the bottom of the chart, guys, we see the pound with a sell indication versus the JPY, and the pound with a neutral and strong buy indication in between against the Swiss franc. But try to go for the 4 of a kind signals, guys. They tend to help more. Also, on the commodity side of things, we're looking at silver and gold with strong sell indications. We're looking at copper with a strong buy shortly after the US markets open. And natural gas, guys, seems to be in a strong sell on all 4 time frames. Right, let's have a quick look at some stocks, guys. Let's look at the Wall Street stocks. Maybe there is something to watch there. Right, ExxonMobil for sell indications and strong sell indications on all 4 time frames. Microsoft and Procter & Gamble seems to be doing a bit better. 4 strong buy on all 4 time frames for both of them. We're looking at Johnson & Johnson with 3 strong sell indications for today. I wonder why. JP Morgan strong sell on all 4 time frames. Chevron strong sell on all 4 time frames, and Citigroup, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and Walmart are all indicating a bit of red on the charts today, guys. A bit of sell that might happen. Right. This is it from my side today. Let's not forget that Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen are testifying for 2 days, guys, and the testimony will start in about 15 minutes from now. So plenty of movement is expected on the US dollar pairs as well as the stock markets. This is it from my side today, guys. Join me again tomorrow, same time, same place, for a new round of market talks and my guest for tomorrow. Until then, remember to trade responsibly and may all your trades be in the money.